Yo, good day, and welcome to another episode of the Road FS Detail Bookie Podcast. It is, dude, it's almost the end of February, and I'm like, dude, where's the year going? We've had an incredible year. We were at Mobile Tech Expo. We've been traveling here and there, and we're back in the studio today to talk to an amazing crew, the PDP crew. They have been legends in the industry. They are the dude, they're probably one of the longest running product companies in the biz now, I think.
Yeah, started out as auto parts 152 years ago. And one of you guys is going to have to change your name, though, because we're all too used to going Mike and Mike. So it's going to have to be like Eric and Eric, or, you know.
I'm not changing my name.
So we have Eric Pulaski and Chris Livengood, right?
Yep.
Perfect. From PDP. And, you know, Mike and Mike have been such like staples and just anchors of the industry. And it's kind of fun to see PDP kind of evolving to that next phase. We got some new faces, new personalities, but the same purpose of trying to help you in your business.
So new in a sense of they're not Mike, but you guys have been there. I mean, how long have you guys, each of you, been with
Eric
PDP?
was there in diapers, man. I mean,
yeah. Well, my dad is Mike Pulaski, so I grew up kind of around PDP for my whole life, I guess. And I came here out of college in 2019, so we're looking at about 7.5, almost 8 years now.
Yeah, I'm almost 6.5 years, but I started using PDP fresh out of high school, so I've been around for a long time.
Yeah, so and then it's if you guys, I think a lot of people don't realize, we didn't realize anyway, until we actually took the first trip to your location, that what kind of an operation it is.
Oh gosh, so it's incredible.
It's not just your typical storefront. You guys have a production facility in the basement, and there's a world-class training facility. I've talked a lot about the training facility at the beginning of this. The opener, you see Robin Sweet opening those doors into the classroom area. It's really laid out nicely for you guys to do some of the things you do. And you guys really give back to your customers. One of the really cool things that's coming up in March is your annual event that you guys have, where you open up the doors and basically say, hey, come on in, and you get free, $25 to go in there and get lunch and training all day long, and then you get to take that $25 and use it as a discount on products. So
it's like free.
Essentially, it's free.
It's a no-brainer to go, and it's packed. I mean, for people, it's freaking packed.
Yeah. We look at that as our give back to our local Northeast Ohio and surrounding states, really get the season started. Our winter's rough here in Ohio when it comes to detailing, and by the time March rolls around, most of the time everybody's up and pumping, and they're quite excited. They really look at that as their kickoff to the season, and we feel the same way.
It's one of our favorite days.
Yeah,
so we're already getting a question,
and we know who this is. This is out of the Netherlands, so we want to see. It says you can't stay for the live conversation explanation of the benefits of graphene in coatings as you have it in your own. This is a big discussion point in car detailing. So do you guys have anything to comment on graphene in coatings?
I can't get down super deep into the chemistry of it because that's not my position here. But as it's explained to me is, your standard SiO2 product, your standard spray products, or your actual solvent-based coatings, which are SiO2 and solvent, they all come from the same kind of root formula. And then the graphene products have that graphene oxide molecule added to them. And it seems like the biggest thing we see is an added durability, a little bit more hardness on that scale, and maybe a better slide angle. So the way we look at it is, even if it's not super measurable, the benefit of it, if there is a benefit, we want to have it. We want to have the best total products we can for our customers.
Yeah, and I think that's a good explanation without being a chemist.
I learned something new today. That was awesome.
You can see in the graphene-based products, you can actually see the graphene,
the darkness.
Yeah, and so I think that, again, it's durability, it's hardness, and it's slickness, right? It's those three things, and I guess what I would say and is people should test things. I'm one of these weirdos that tests things like that. I'll take a piece of metal and I'll put 2 products on it, and then I'll lay it out on the ground next to my shop and leave it there for a year, and then come back and see what it looks like. And that's just for my personal stuff. And that's the best way for me to actually test it in my environment, is to just see what it does. And I can see the difference. I've had different coatings from different coating manufacturers that I've put on the same piece of metal, stuck out in the yard.
Well, even last week you were testing waterless.
Yeah, I was testing a waterless wash and giving some feedback to somebody. And I was like, hey, this leaves all waterless washes leave a little bit of stuff on there, but it left a really bad film. So it was, hey, do I need to dilute it, or what am I doing? Make sure that I'm not doing something wrong. And then, go into it. But I think that's one of the key products, key to the products that you guys actually produce. I was totally unaware that you guys produced your own products. And then
we are a complete
took us in the basement, and I'm like, there's a production facility under the store. I mean, this is great. So we actually got to see some of the products that you guys produce. And luckily there was not an acid-based wheel cleaner being produced that day. It was something that smelled good.
Yeah, but you guys have kicked that secret. Well,
Yep.
you've kept the secret, but you've rolled it into your product, dude. You don't get that eggy smell with you guys.
Yeah, our iron-based wheel cleaner and our iron-based iron remover, which is our R400, they're both extremely low odor. We've basically found an additive that we're going to keep top secret as long as we can, that is able to almost 100% neutralize that smell.
Wow, that's cool.
It's actually, I know what it is. I'm going to spill it. It's petrified dinosaur tears. We found a vat of those, and but
and we only have it.
Yeah, I think some of the ones that are, I use those for. I love the non-acid based stuff because it's just a feeling, right? This is so non-scientific. I just feel safer using it, because it's not an acid based on certain areas like engine compartments, not on anything that would be like high end, McLaren, Lamborghini brake rotors. You wouldn't put anything like that on there anyway. But even on stuff that's like vented and slotted, hot rods and stuff like that, I just feel safer with the non-acid based stuff on there. So, and we're nerdy. We love to go down in there. I mean, how cool is it to have products that are in your basement being made and being able to sell them? So
of course, and it really allows us to get feedback from our customers on things that they're looking for or the industry needs, and we're able to take that down to our production and chemist and get something put together and hand it out to those guys to get tested and really get valuable feedback.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. It's funny when you say, we have that iron with the non-stinky smell. It's funny because when you talk to people in the industry that are using the products right now, they think that if it stinks, that's the only thing that works. But if you give ours a try, you're going to see that it doesn't matter if it smells or not.
Right.
Well,
right.
And I remember the first time we were there when you were training on it, and I was amazed, one, that I wasn't overwhelmed with the odor. Right. But 2, I mean, it really, really worked. I mean, it was in the opening scene when you were working on the back of that van.
Yeah.
And if people haven't tried it, they need to try that product because it is stellar.
Well, and I think that the coolest part about, honestly, is the trainings that we do at your facility is that other chemical companies come in there. You sell everybody's stuff. It's not like you just sell PDP products.
Yeah.
And I will tell you guys, I will not say who it was because I'm not that kind of guy, but there was another chemical company at the training, and you guys were applying your new, it was at the time, new ceramic coating you had, and it's got a really nice dwell time. It's got a lot of working time. And so I was sitting next to the owner of one of the other chemical companies that has a ceramic, and he literally looks at me and he goes, yeah, we need to work on that on ours. Ours doesn't work that good. So he was giving a really big compliment to you guys and critiquing his own product. And it was really cool because, honestly, when we're there, everybody's just we're just industry partners.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter who it is, which company it is, it's all industry partners. And I think that's what's really cool in the offerings of the storefront, because you can go find everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the best way to do it. Did you get Mike's up there? Yeah, he loved Mike's Marine
I
Care.
love 100% free.
Yeah, I love a cent free.
Cent free. Yes.
Cent free.
So you guys at Mobile Tech Expo, you rolled out two new products, right?
Yeah, I'll talk about the new ceramic spray that we just launched.
Yeah.
That's our SW90. Been very, very popular at the start of this year. We look forward to it. It's a very hot seller right now, and it's not going to slow down. Super hydrophobic, super slick, and super shiny. Doesn't matter if you use it wet or dry, and you can also put it in a foamer and dilute down. So people are getting about 2 to 2.5 months of protection. Some are using them as a rinse aid. Some are just using them as the protection, but we are getting a lot of good feedback.
Yeah.
And we're very, very happy with that product.
I want to focus on something you just said, because we get a lot of, we're very lucky in the sense that we don't detail cars for a living, but we get access to a ton of stuff. And I'm totally grateful all the time, because we have a ton of access to products
and training
and trainings and certifications and cool cars and just awesome stuff. So, but one of the things that happens is we get a lot of feedback from, like, if we're at PDP, we will get feedback from somebody about a PDP product because they want to say something, but they don't want to say something to you guys. So one of the things that I think is hard in a ceramic spray is people want to critique it for its longevity, but it's not meant to be a ceramic. It is meant to do exactly what you just said. It gives you 2 to 3 months of protection. And if you're like me, when I wash my own cars, I put the ceramic spray on every single time. So I'm getting layers of protection that are lasting longer than between when I'm washing it. So I've already got protection from the first time I put it on, and then I put it on again. And so I think people just need to put that into context, and 2 to 3 months of protection and shininess is awesome. And if you're not, we just came back. We switched
We're just rotating.
We're just shaking things up. So that's the thing is people need to understand what the product is supposed to do. Use it for what it's intended. Don't expect it to be a ceramic coating. It's a ceramic spray. It's a topper, and it's supposed to give you a little bit extra protection. So
of course, and the biggest thing we've noticed with the ceramic sprays in the market, because we do have a more durable ceramic spray called Boost. That's more of your 6-month topper product. But a lot of people complain about dealing with the high solids products and how they smear and they're not fun to work with in the sun. And there is a lot of truth to that. This product was really designed to be that super easy to use product. It almost has a self-evaporation feature, whereas you're wiping it, if you leave some behind, it almost wants to get itself off the surface for you. Super easy to work with. Direct sunlight, it seems to hold up just fine and use just fine. And one of my favorite features is the smell is unreal. I mean, we went after like a strawberry Starburst flavor, and it's intoxicating.
Yeah. It doesn't taste good though. It doesn't taste good.
So I have a question. I'm assuming.
Are you sure?
I'm assuming that this is applicable for marine.
Oh, definitely.
Right, because 100%. I'm a boat guy, right? Every time I take my boat out of the water, the first thing I do is I wipe it down and I spray it down because I want it to.
Well, you need a foam cannon and get some of this in there and just spray it down with that and then wipe it off.
Very easy to use.
I mean, because you talk about 2.5 months, right? If I'm layering that, I have protection the entire season because I start. Let's be honest. I start early. I mean, probably mid-April. If it's 60 degrees, I'm going to be on the boat, and I go all the way to October. So, I mean, dude, that's going to make my life a lot easier this summer.
Definitely.
And I actually like those products better than I like the ones like sounds great. Try it.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Absolutely. I love those products because of the fact they don't streak and they're easy to use. I would rather, this is just me personally because I'm lazy, but I would rather use one of those products over and over and over than have something on there that has higher solids that I have to worry about high spots and streaking. And that's what the feedback that I gave to this manufacturer that did this rinseless. I was like, hey, there's a lot of I don't want to call it residue, but it left a film. I'm like,
yeah, and that's from just too much solids in a product.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when we found ourselves do this before, sometimes you chase utter perfection when it comes to durability and all that stuff, and you take away from the user experience. And in the end, we're just selling the product. We're not the direct users, and we really want to cater to the detailers.
Yeah. So for sure, and that again, the feedback is good to a certain point. I know a lot of people when ceramic sprays first came out. And toppers, you know, both those kinds of products, people kept saying, oh, they attract so much dust. And I'm like, okay, so first off, no product is attracting dust. That's not the way it works. There's dust in the air. I mean, it just happens. If you wash a car and you don't put anything on it at all, it's going to attract dust. The hydrophobics and the shininess and everything with a product makes you see the dust more. And people just need to use the product for what they're for. So you have a second product that you put out.
Yes, of course. So, you know, we're starting to see a lot more of the mobile detailers demanding a product that allows them to dress plastics and weather techs without a whole bunch of slip and, slime to them from silicone-based dressings. So we came out with a new non-silicone product that dresses weather techs and plastics to a high gloss with zero slip to it.
Oh, wow. So, okay.
Mike, you and I, man, we are fellow pirates. I mean, dude.
Yeah. So
if I'm on the boat, I'm happy.
That's a really I think that's something that is going to be seen more and more and more because as manufacturers put more plastics on cars, there's going to need to be something that restores them. And not just restores them, but keeps them looking like plastic instead of white charred junk.
That, and a lot of the detailers and dealerships, we're using a silicone based dressing.
Yeah.
Let it sit, let it dry, wipe it with a towel, but it can be slippery and that can go into the pedal. So
and that's what I always worry about is the pedal.
Yeah. Right? So because I've got on my Jeep, there's running boards that are plastic on the top, right? They have a foot pad that's plastic. Bad idea. Just if you're manufacturing steps for cars, don't make them plastic, make them rubber.
Yeah.
Because as soon as anything hits that, man, it is just like an invitation to land on your butt. You just woo. And that's what every time my wife gets in my Jeep, she's like, okay, she like double tests the foot to make sure she's not going to fall. And I don't put anything that's silicone based on there just because of that reason. I'm like, I don't want to walk in and hit the deck because I put something, oh, look, it's shiny. And then, and I'm dead.
And I think a lot of detailers, they tend to forget too, that if you use, a heavy silicone product on anything that their feet touches, get into that vehicle, even if it's not the floor mat, it transfers to the rubber on the sole of their shoe. Yep. And when they go to get on the pedal, it's going to be the same effect as if they were, sprayed down with the pedal.
Oh, yeah. And I think a lot of people get more concerned with the look than the functionality.
Yeah.
And that's consumers as well as detailers. We worry so much about the look. I mean, I've been so guilty of that Jody laughs at me all the time because you're so worried about that one little teeny tiny detail that you spend extra day and a half doing something that really didn't need to be done, because as soon as you drive it out into actual, the environment, it's going to get dirty again. So, and I think it's just important as far as maintenance. I think most people at the core of it, they're worried about maintaining their vehicle and keeping whatever it is, boat, car, truck, RV, motorcycle, just keeping it. And Sydney Bray Gwen has the perfect statement. She made it years ago and I've stolen it for years, is you're stopping time. Right? We take a vehicle of any kind and we want to stop time. We want to stop it from eroding. We want to make it look like it does today in 10 years. We want to hold the value of it. And so I think that's the big thing. But you guys are similar to us, that you're in a Four Seasons environment, right?
Yep.
I think when we were there, we went to we got the really unique honor. You guys took us all to the Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame. And I love being inside the Hall of Fame because outside it was so freaking cold. They were giving out towels in there, and I wrapped the towel around my neck like a scarf. And I'm from Idaho; it's cold here. But there was it was a different. I did not check the weather in March, and I was cold. But
Ohio's dangerous.
Yeah.
All sorts of reasons.
Yeah, I mean, it was what negative 21 a couple weeks ago, and today we wake up and it's 60 degrees.
Yep. And then you guys also, what do they clear the roads with when it's icy? Do they use a brine mix?
Salt and brine.
Salt and brine.
Salt and brine, right?
Salt and brine.
Horribly corrosive. Horribly
time.
corrosive. If you took that off the street and put it on bare metal and let it sit, oh my God, it's horrible stuff.
Oh yeah.
But
so I have a question for you guys. I mean, you rolled out 2 new products this year. I mean, you guys have a really deep line. What do you guys see ahead of 2026 that are opportunities for detailers, and also things that might trip them up as they're going into?
Yeah, of course. Year? So I came up with one thing to talk about how to get detailers ahead, and one thing that's maybe keeping them behind.
Perfect.
I like to talk to my customers that are building out like a full experience for their customers to really think about total ticket price. So whether you're a volume shop or you're a high-end, single car at a time shop, you really need to start thinking about packaging services in. So, of course, we all detail. We all have at least tried or gotten into paint correction and coatings. But, there's nothing holding a shop back from looking into other services. I mean, PPF and window tint is exploding, and it runs just parallel with our industry. There's really no reason not to try your hand at it. And then a lot of things we see some of our detailers getting into too is PDR and paint touch-up work. I mean, it's right in-house, whether you bring a PDR guy in to do it or you train yourself. And then another thing that a lot of people don't quite realize, and it's a big industry that happens in the background, is if you have any kind of industrial plants or factories near you, overspray removal is such a big thing. And they're a lot of times willing to pay whatever because it's insurance work going to the body shop otherwise. So I think my idea with that is, don't be afraid to get outside your detailing bubble and figure out how you can, increase that total ticket price. And I find that that's your best stream of growth is by a little bit more servicing.
So let me ask you a question, because you mentioned PPF and tint. You guys, PDP has your own line of PPF, correct?
Yep, we do currently sell PPF and window tint. We also do 3-day classes, which have been a huge hit. We try to cap those at 6 to 8 people, and every class has been full so far. They've been, a hit. We bring in a lead trainer, and then myself and Corbin, one of our salesmen who has a lot of tint experience, comes over and helps. And then we try to just basically provide them with whether it's plotters, cutting software, or the tools at the best cost we can. We look at it as a add-on service to our customers. Seeing as they already come to us for detailing and they're extremely loyal, we want to help them build that total ticket price out.
Yeah, and this really falls in line with the philosophy that I've had for years is you don't just want to be somebody's wheel guy. You don't just want to be somebody's detailer. Yep. You want to be their automotive consultant. You want them to come 100%. To you for everything. Hey, Chris, where should I go to get new tires? Well, they know you don't sell tires, but you want to be their trusted advisor for everything that has to do with those things, because that way you're able to ensure that they're going to come back to you. You know, if somebody's calling you because they're replacing their tires and they're asking you your opinion, you know when grandma's car needs taken care of, they're coming to you. Right. So, and I think the other one that you mentioned is training. Take advantage of those trainings. I mean, if you're in the Ohio area and you're not going to the PDP trainings for nothing, they're free. You are really doing yourself a disservice, because you're going to get an intro to PDF, What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
PPF. Whoa. You're going to get an intro to PPF.
We're not Adobe.
I'm looking at PDP and I tried to say PPF. So you're going to get an intro to that. You're going to get, different
exposure to different
products and ceramics and everything. Plus, I wore my PDP shirt because if you go, like they did a special edition, they actually commissioned an artist to do the shirt. I mean, we're not talking about some, like, hey, let's just throw a shirt out there.
$4 shirt.
Yeah, this is so.
One of the big things that Mike, the owner, in 2015, he built that training facility.
Yep.
That's over 4,000 square feet to be the first IDA brick and mortar training facility. So, that ties into our commitment to the IDA and the industry. Yeah. We've always just wanted to be able to push the industry forward. Mike and his father, Phil, started distributing pro products in 1970. And, the industry was way different then. I mean, there weren't really detailers. There were cleanup guys. That's what they called them.
And, you had a wool pad and you had a rotary jar of rocks and sand.
Yep.
What it was. So.
And
it was
just shows, the commitment is always to just pushing it further. I mean,
yeah. And that's great because the industry can keep moving ahead, right? There's going to be something new. 2 years from now, PPF and window tint are going to be just an accepted thing. Oh yeah, it's just like ceramic coating. Oh, it's just part of the industry. There's going to be something else. And as I hate to say it this way, but as manufacturers create crappier exteriors and interiors of cars, this industry has to come up with ways to continue to make them look good.
Yeah, because the price isn't going to go down on cars.
No, the price isn't going to go down. They're hugely expensive, and so people want to maintain those. And it doesn't matter if it's I think one of the things is probably 10, 15 years ago, the word detailing was associated with high-end cars, right? Yep. Oh, I just drive a whatever, fill in the blank, mom minivan. I don't need a detail. I just need it washed. And that's starting to be less and less and less accepted in that minivan costs a ton of money. That SUV that you're driving your kids around in is $58,000-$60,000. You've got to keep that thing pristine for resale value, but also so that it doesn't deteriorate and you don't have to buy another one. So
100%.
I think people are into more of the preservation of their vehicle. I think that's what's really cool about the automotive market is when the economy in the United States is doing really well, people are buying cars like crazy, man. Cars in 2020, holy crap, cars went through the roof.
It was wild.
But then as soon as the economy drops, it's not like people just stop doing cars. They go, I got to keep my old car looking good. And so that part of it picks up. And I think that's good because then that's it's kind of an elastic industry. We can react to the ups and downs in the world and come up with those things that help us. There's a lot of people that are in four-season and climate like yours and ours. And they don't understand that we'll see people go, how do I stay busy in the winter? I'm like, man, you are the interior king. You are doing countertops and glass shower walls. You're doing industrial stuff. You talk to the concrete guys, hey, get ready for spring. We can go in and do a coating on the back of your concrete truck, whatever it is in your environment that there's a problem and you can solve it. And I think that's what's cool about the feedback loop. And we get to see this again. We're very blessed in that realm that we get to see that feedback loop through companies like yours of watching and listening to somebody say, there's a problem, we need to solve it. Yeah. And it's not the coolest part about being at your facility and talking with Mike and you guys, and even talking to Corbin for a little bit last time we were there, is it's not about how do we make more money? It's how do we solve a problem? How do we help our detailers in the community solve a problem? So
I have a question about your training. You have an upcoming training in March.
Yep.
What are the dates? And two, do you have to be a customer? Because I think this is a customer exclusive event. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
To a point. It's going to be March 24th. It's our 27th annual seminar. We kind of opened it up last year to people online and give them that benefit because it is a special day for us. I mean, it's the start of the year. The weather's usually breaking by then. Unfortunately, the last time you were here, it was a little cold. But when the sun's shining, I mean,
oh yeah,
everybody changes the way they feel. So it's very special because we get to deal with all of our clients and potentially have new ones.
But we always welcome professional detailers. I mean, we would never turn away a professional detailer. If anything, sometimes like a DIYer off the street, sometimes we have to hold them back because we want to make sure the professionals are able to have access to this event.
Yeah, but I want to highlight, I don't think people understand, this isn't like 5 or 6 people. There's like 120 people that go through this facility.
Yeah, it's about 120 to 150 each year.
Yeah, this is insanity. I mean, like we showed up because Jody and I've gone to trainings when there's been 3 people, right? And we're totally happy to talk to those 3 people. We show up and it's like, okay, there's 2 sessions. There's a morning and there's an afternoon, and there's only 62 people in the front. And we're like, 62 people in the morning session? This is insanity. So it is really a big event.
Well, and the thing that I like about it is you flip classroom time versus shop time, right?
Yeah.
So you get in the classroom setting, you get the traditional background and all that stuff, but then you're able to get your hands on it. And so I love that setup and that model because it really helps elevate the why, and you get practical.
Yeah.
And we try to. We don't want to bore anyone in the classroom for too long, but we want them to learn the actual substance.
And I think that's a really good way to do it. There's only like beyond PDP, there's only been one other training, and that was one with Richard Hutchings from Leather Repair Company in the UK that I have seen where there was over 40 people at a single training, and splitting up that classroom and that hands-on part is really important.
It's really helpful.
In any kind of learning situation. You can't just sit in a room for 3.5 hours. I mean, I go to sleep in the dentist office waiting to get in for my appointment. So I just couldn't handle doing that. And so
you fall asleep if you're not having a conversation.
If I'm not moving, I'm asleep. I'm either on or I'm off. So but I think that's really a valuable way to do that, and the facility lends itself to that. So big shout out to Mike and whoever was involved in designing that facility.
Yeah, that's the mic.
That's the mic.
Yeah, it's the perfect combination. It's got enough room for 2 vehicles to be in there at the same time, so you've got plenty of room for people to be on
got lots
different.
of room.
Yeah, it's great. This year if we show up, I'm just going to bring a cot and I'm sleeping.
So Chris, let's talk about what you see in the industry for 2026.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me as a salesman to my clients, number 1 is customer service. But number 2 is helping them make more money by buying their chemical in bulk. People come in, or people I talk to, hey, I want a gallon of this, gallon of this, gallon of this, gallon of that. Well, why don't you jump to a 5, turn that 5 gallon into 10 gallons or 15 gallons? Your price comes down. Now you're able to make more money.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that's my biggest thing is, I've been detailing for 28 years. So it's something that I'm used to doing. So when customers come in or they call or they email, I'm here to not only sell to them, but to help them.
Yeah.
If they get stuck on something, I can answer their question. And if I don't know it, I'll find somebody that knows it.
Yeah.
But we're all very customer oriented. And we deal with a lot of people because we do have a huge showroom that people can come into. And we've branched off and, we sell to a lot of out-of-state customers. So it's just making sure they're getting the right stuff.
Yeah.
If it's something that they're like, well, I don't know if I need this. And I'll say, well, why do you need that when you can use this on this, this, and this? So I'm saving them money at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the key is that, obviously everybody in this industry, whether you're a detailer, whether you're a product distributor, whether you're a product manufacturer, whether you're a software company, we all want to make money, but it's very symbiotic, right? If you're not successful and you're buying from me, I'm not going to be successful. So then therefore the people I'm getting stuff from aren't going to be successful. So we all want people to succeed, but I think that's where you guys can cater to their individual needs as well as their personal quirkiness, right? I like the cherry flavored one better than the strawberry flavored one or whatever. So Let's see what we got here.
Rinseless over
rinseless
soap.
over
Instant
soap, baby.
juice-free.
I'll tell you what, and I agree with that. And the rinseless products are huge time savings. They're money savings because they're diluted down. I constantly have a couple of buckets in my shop where I have 5 gallons of rinseless with a lid on it, so that you can just do a quick wash on something and get it in and out the door. There's no substitute for a good soap if it's something that's really dirty, but I think rinseless is again, we were talking about earlier, right? It's something that came into the market a few years ago, and now it's just commonplace. Everybody has a rinseless. So
yeah, sorry, I'm laughing because my son's Ford has been on blocks for the last little bit, and so he's been driving the Z, and he works at a Old Castle. They manufacture welding and big old pipes, and they build, and so he's driving on that nasty old dirt ground, and I hadn't seen my car for a week. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not rinseless watching this thing.
Yeah, no, you gotta
had to take in the pressure wash the whole thing. So
yeah,
rinseless wash is not gonna work there.
I want to just take a little step back and talk about, because the one thing I wanted to say that might be holding some detailers back, Chris started to touch on it, but I just want to give some figures, and really, if anyone's listening, they really could pick something up on this. And I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but as detailers, we really got to start buying smarter. I understand that there is a chemical cost affiliated with everything we do, but we really need to start thinking in these bulk sizes, because as manufacturers, we're able to really provide a huge savings. I mean, if anything, it takes away from what me and Chris can make in a total outcome. But again, we're here for customer service. So for example, an average price, what I found on the internet and with our pricing of a gallon of acid is about $30. If you break that down to a 5 gallon, I'm able to get their gallon price to 20 flat. Whereas if they're looking into a drum of acid, which there are a lot of places that use drums of acid every year, if not every 6 months, we're closer to 12 flat on a drum of acid. So you're able to take your chemical price that a lot of people are buying acid by the gallon and diluting it, which is great that they're diluting it. Yeah. But we're able to reduce that by almost $18 a gallon.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow. That's a lot.
There is an initial investment on products like that, but you need to look at your bottom line and realize, okay, I bought 55 gallons worth of acid last year, but I bought them as individual gallons 50 times. Right. I mean, we really want to be there to look at them and look at their consumption and say, hey, you might want to look and bumping that up. And even if it's not to a 55 gallon drum, we sell lots of 15s and lots of 30 gallon drums. Even our iron melt, which is our, one of our most popular products, you buy 4 quarts over time of that, that's almost $100 versus you switch right to the gallon, you're looking at $64.95. A 5 gets you down under $50, and you've reduced your chemical price by almost 25% right there.
And I think that's really important,
yeah,
Eric, is because one of the big pushes, there's an organization out here that we're part of called the Detailers of the Roundtable. And one of the big things we're pushing is to have SOPs in your shop, but to 100%. Look at your costs. What are your actual costs of doing that detail? And down to the point of how many polishes can you get out of that foam pad? And then you amortize that over the number of details you're doing, and you need to add that into your pricing, because it goes both ways, right? One is to cut costs, and the other is to make sure you're getting paid for what you're doing. And so many detailers that we talk to go, well, I don't understand it because I'm charging $125 for a 2-step correction, and I'm just not making any money. And I'm like, that's because you're not covering your costs. Yeah. You're buying in the pint for your products, to your point, and then you're turning around and you're not including the rags and the polish and the wear and tear on your machine and the overhead of the lights in your shop. If you're mobile, you're not counting the mileage, the fuel, or any of that. So I think it's really important that people look at that, because that you said something that really touches on that, and that is, look at, in a 1-year period of your business, how much of X chemical are you using? If you are using more than 5 gallons in a year, it's ridiculous to not buy 5 gallons.
100%.
Buy it in those 5 gallons, because you're going to make more money. And that's what the objective is. It's the same product. Buy a pint and then keep the bottle, because then you can switch it back and forth. And this is juice free. I'm mobile. If I don't include travel labor, I'm like $7 for a detail at gas and generator spot. Yes, exactly. And then the other thing is you've got to take into account, even if you're using a small amount, like tire dressing, a lot of people don't think about how many ounces of dressing are you using? How many ounces of this, right? In a ceramic, we think about it. It's a 50 ml bottle, let's say. And let's say it's a on the lower end scale of a ceramic, right? It's an everyday car. It's $95 for that bottle, right? And we're charging $225. You're not counting your labor. You're not counting, and people do it. You see it all the time.
You see it all
day long.
We see it as you can't just look at that and go, well, I paid $95 and I tripled the price. No, there has to be a polish involved. There has to be time. There's labor involved. There's travel, all kinds of stuff. So I think that's really valuable. What you're talking about that is something that every single product salesperson, distributor, manufacturer says is buy in bulk, because you're getting such a big discount.
Yeah. And again, it as the manufacturers and the salesmen, I'll tell you just straight up, we lose margin and total profit by telling you guys that, but we're here to really help ensure that you guys are getting that cost down and taking care of yourselves. And I find I've got a handful of customers that come in the store every week and buy a quarter a gallon of a product. In a month, what are we talking about? You spent double what you should have.
I think that's an area that a lot of small businesses really struggle with, especially when they're making the leap, right? I'm a detailer, dude. I can polish a car, I can clean a car. I'm going to go create my own business, right? And I'm going to charge $125. Well, dude, you're not even considering all of the costs associated with that charge, right? And when you start thinking about margin, right? Rod's always thinking about this. It's like, look, if we're making X and we can increase our margin, all of a sudden we're at Y, right? But we're charging the same price. And when you can start thinking strategically about that and looking at what your outlay is and how do I increase the margin, right? And some of that is cutting prices, right? Buying in bulk, or finding another resource that allows you to do that. And sometimes, let's be honest, you need to increase your prices.
Yeah.
Right. Let's be honest. Sometimes you need to increase your prices, but a lot of times we're afraid. I mean, we have a long-term customer that we're like, dude, they're so consistent with us. Do we even broach that conversation with them, right? So,
oh my God, that's perfect. I love this statement that's coming up. If you own a money printer, don't forget to buy paper. That is beautiful. So I think I've watched this happen. Somebody's mobile and their mentality goes, what can fit in the van?
Right.
Only thing I can do is fit a 1 gallon. But where do you park the van at night? If you have a garage, you can get a 5 gallon. I've been at places where we've had 5 gallons up on a little stand and they used them. But then the next step up from that is, okay, do I need a 55 gallon? There's a shop in Oregon we went to, and I think it's 2 or 3 bays.
Yeah.
He has 500 gallon totes in there on a little stand where he can do the dilution. And one of them, we were in there and it was half full. I mean, that's 250 gallons of product, because he understood I can buy a 500 gallon tote. And that day is, we're moving 500 gallon totes. There's a forklift that's putting it on the stand. It's a big process, but that's it. He's done. He's got enough product to go for the year. And then he's got other ones next to it. It's the same thing as you think about something as simple as washing and taking care of your towels, right? How many people are carrying those towels to a laundromat or using the one inside their home in the evenings? The day that you buy a washer and dryer for your shop and you start doing it in the shop, you're going to take a huge burden off yourself. And you're cutting costs. There's 2 ways to make money: increase prices or reduce cost. And when you're doing both of those, that margin becomes massive, but you have to know the numbers. So I'm really glad you brought that up, because people have got to look at the numbers of what they're spending and realize that there's a huge difference between buying I've got to have the highest end 10-year coating and I'm trying to sell it at $3,000 an install. I'm going to go with a good coating and a maintenance program and make more margin.
Well, of course. And I think what a lot of that comes down to is detailers need to understand, and every industry has this, but detailers are what we're talking about. Time is money. So even with that towel philosophy, if it's taking, you got to drive to the laundromat or drive back home and it's taking 2 hours of your day to go do your towels, could you have done another detail and then just bought a couple packs of towels?
Yep.
And I'm not telling people to throw stuff away, but if I'm skipping a $300 detail to wash used towels, I'm stopping to pick up pennies when there's hundreds at the end of the road.
Right. Yeah. And it goes back to what you're saying earlier, buy in bulk, buy more towels so you don't have to stop in the middle of the day. But then
exactly.
we see, you want to talk about operations. There's a dealership in Kentucky, millions and millions of dollars. They've got one of the most beautiful facilities I've ever seen. They have multiple washers and dryers in there. And when people aren't busy, they're washing and folding towels. That's part of their job. It's like, hey, I just got done with this detail. Great, take a break. Go fold towels. And they're folding towels. You go to the training facilities, we do the same thing, right? You guys have a training facility. Rupes has a training facility. They have washers and dryers. They're folding towels. They're taking care of the products that, when I was a mechanic, Friday afternoon was always clean the shop day, right? We scrubbed the floors. We took, it made sure that this fireproof oil rag barrel was taken care of. We did all the things, and it was the maintenance day. And you got to build that into your pricing. There's a half a day when you're not productive. You have to take care of the business instead of just doing business. And so I think that's important, is to look at everything you're doing. You have to be, again, detail oriented. We all are, but sometimes we don't work as much on the business. And people aren't taking advantage of the ability to go do something like you guys have at the training. It's not just about, I
rent towels.
Always have a stash.
This is the first guy
Never
that
even
I've
have
heard
a mess with them. That's it. Perfect.
Dude.
So the thing about it is if people don't take advantage of opportunities like going to PDP and talking to other detailers, you have an entire day to spend talking to other detailers, people in the industry, and figuring out ways to do things that help your business make more money and spend less money.
Yeah,
it's a big network day for them. I
always tell my guys, if you're going to eat, someone's got to do the dishes. When this is pertaining to keeping your shop area clean, it's part of the job.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. So now
my brother-in-law's philosophy from the Navy is, if you got time enough to lean, you got time enough to clean.
Yep. And a lot, like you were saying, a lot of the detailers are great detailers. They're great paint correction guys. They can wet sand, but they really weren't used to running a business or operating SOPs. And I think that's, an open invitation to all those guys that might be struggling with that, to give Chris or myself a call, and we can help walk you through a lot of that stuff and talk to you about your, where you might be overspending on chemical and your bottom line on all that stuff.
Yeah. And Rod and I have these conversations all the time, right? Especially on the CRM side, because, what I find is that when people are starting to consider bringing on a CRM, they're at their point in their business where they're like, I got to think about it differently. I got to make it easier for my customer to do business with me. I need to have a better pulse on where I'm making money, where I'm losing money, where I'm losing or gaining opportunity costs, right? And so it's like, I think one of the things, and it was very eye-opening to me this year at Mobile Tech Expo. We got invited at the last minute to be part of the 101 training series. Yeah. And it became very apparent to me that detailers are hungry for business information, but we often don't talk about it. We talk about the products and paint correction, interior, but we don't talk about the process of doing business and how to be more profitable. And I always love those conversations, because you can see the light to go on, right? When you're it's like I was talking to this one lady. She's been our customer probably 6 years now. And I remember when she first came to me, and I told her the price of our software. I think she was like $120 a month. Super affordable price to run her business. And she's like, "Oh man, I don't know if I can do that." I go, let me ask you a question. I know you're in the dealership space. So let me just guess. And I go, you're making between, based on your size and the number of users, you're making between 15K and 30K a month. She goes, oh, you're right on. I go, so you're talking about $120 a month, which is less than 1% to run your business.
Yep.
She's, oh, I hadn't thought about it like that. I was
Yeah.
just looking at the cost of it. And when
Right.
you start looking at whatever it is, compound, ceramic coating, CRMs, as a tool to make you successful, then all of a sudden your perspective changes and you're looking at your business strategically instead of as strictly a cost center.
Yeah. And one of the things I want to touch on with you guys is some of this is not about necessarily spending less money, because in the detailing industry, we have a tendency to watch all these guys complain about the person that's price shopping. And then a detailer will turn around and price shop. Hey, what's the cheapest polisher I can get? And you're like,
Oh, we're well aware.
100%.
You were talking about the cheapskate customer that didn't want to spend $100, and you're buying a Harbor Freight. I mean, I'm sorry, but you get tired of replacing a Harbor Freight tool. Everybody knows that. But I want to jump back to something that Juice Free was saying, and it's on this topic of sometimes you have to spend a little bit of money to help you maintain your health and do your job easier. So it becomes something you spend less money on. And what he's talking about was basically waterless washes, right? They have emulsifiers in them. You can spray a rinseless wash on, let it emulsify some of that dirt and break it up so that it's easier to come off of when you're washing it, and it saves you time. Therefore, it's making you money and saving you time, even though you're spending a little on the product. To break up that dirt and to get stuff moving is going to help you do your job faster.
Of course. And
I've done this on my own. I didn't believe it when it first came out. I was like, this is BS. So I took half of a hood of a really dirty car and I sprayed it down with a rinseless wash, and I just let it sit there and dwell. And then I came back and I'm like, it's not going to do shit. It's not going to do anything. And then I hit it with the pressure washer and all the bugs came off that side. And this side they didn't. And I'm like, I got to work twice as hard to get the stuff off of this side. And all I did was spend a little bit of money. I mean, it was just a little bit. It was a few ounces. So a lot of that is talking to people like you guys that know what the products will do and saying, hey, Eric, Chris, I need a product that helps break stuff down, right?
of course. And you know, in the detailing industry, the most expensive factor for a detailing business is labor, 99% of the time. And a lot of the detailers don't really think that it matters so much because a lot of them are 1 or 2 man operations and it's their own labor that they're giving up. So they don't look at it like that. But,
Right.
you know, you really need to look at your SOPs and get that labor cut down because that in the end is always going to be your highest cost in this industry.
And
Our
that's where
material
you,
cost is low on average versus other
Right.
service industries.
And if you can cut 15 or 20 minutes off of a detail,
that's margin.
That's margin.
That's margin.
Huge. Hey,
Think about that in a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we actually had a guy do his own numbers. He didn't want to use a CRM. He didn't want to use our product because he's like, it's just, he literally kept saying, it's just not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I mean, it takes me maybe 15 or 20 minutes to have somebody enter in an invoice. And when he did the numbers himself of that 15 or 20 minutes over the course of a year, he was pale. He was pale. He's like, there's no way this is true. And I was like,
your numbers.
I don't know what you're talking about. You did the numbers. He's like, there's no way I spend $200,000 a year on entering invoices. And I was like, if it's 15, 20 minutes an invoice and you have that, you do the math,
Yep.
you are spending that much money to have somebody type.
Makes
100%.
Just have your detailers do it. And he was able to, with numbers, again, he was able to recalculate. And the first year he used our CRM, he made an additional $80,000 because of saving time. And, you know,
Margin.
softwares
Gets
are
back to
cheap.
margin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's the.
So did you so let's see what this is. Jody, thank you for stopping by. Oh, dude.
Yeah, you want to talk about
Detail,
efficiency.
dude,
Rawless Detail has got the efficiency.
He's all about
down.
efficiency. I mean, Rawless Detail, you should check him out. I mean, he really is. Yeah. He really thinks about it from an efficiency and process perspective from a mobile standpoint. That guy really
For
has
sure.
thought about it. So in final wrap up, you guys have your training March 24th.
March 24th, we do a morning session from 8 a.m. to 12. Lunch provided at the end, and then we do a handful of door prizes. Then our second session comes in at 12. They eat lunch, and then they go till 4. We invite them over to the showroom for door prizes and let them shop around.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it is great. So there is professionaldetailingproducts.com. Eric Pulaski and Chris's email there.
And it's not; these are not talking about door prizes like a keychain, right?
No,
These
No.
are
Buffers.
hundreds of
Yes.
dollars worth of gift. You could
Yes.
walk into a free training and walk out with a $350, $400 polisher. in your
Yeah,
hand. This is good stuff. So
PDP goes all out.
go
so.
check these guys out. And again, the thing I always tell people is there's resources out there. I have zero doubt if I called either of you on the phone or sent you an email, you would help me out. So we're giving you their emails at the bottom. You call PDP. They talked about shipping out products. You don't have to be in Ohio to get the products. But
what's the price? Here's the beauty of this training.
Goodness.
Oh, what's the prizes? Oh God, we're not gonna tell. I thought it.
Yeah, you
I
got to
read
come to
this
learn
was the
that.
price. It's $25.
I think that guy's retired. He could probably come.
he can come. Come on, Gary.
Come on,
Here's
Gary.
the thing is, let's just make it up. Chris is going to be there. There's going to be a kissing booth. And the fourth
No,
person
I'm
to
married.
door-
There's no kissing booth.
That's awesome.
Maybe
Well,
you
like that.
get the kiss and ego pressure washer. There's a kissing booth with an ego pressure washer. No.
yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time this morning.
Well, thank
Any
you.
last
Thank you. We
thoughts you guys
appreciate it.
have? Anything else you'd like to say before we cut her loose?
No, obviously our email's there. Go to our website, check us out if you haven't heard of us or want to hear from us. Give us a call at the store, 330-454-5105. Any one of us can help you. And
We'd love to help you.
We would look forward to that.
And I can attest to that.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
Eric just
Absolutely.
said. They really would love to help you. I mean, the PDP team, they are phenomenal when it comes to giving advice, giving training, being helpful. I mean, they really are a phenomenal team. Shout out to the two Mikes, Mike Squared, for creating the foundation that you guys are now building upon.
Yeah.
Eric and Chris are going to be the faces that you're going to see more and more. So make sure that you connect with them. Thank you guys for being on
And
the
one
show.
more last-
And
one
we
more
got
last thing, and then
chat.
If you guys are not already subscribed to the he was saying yuck about the kissing booth.
about the kissing booth, oh come on,
If
Gary.
you guys haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, go out and do that. And then any suggestions on guests, if there's somebody you'd like to see, a specific topic you'd like us to cover, please go do that.
Well, and I'm working on getting Esme.
I
on
know
the show,
we're working on
so
getting some people from outside
from
the US.
UK.
We have some people from Scotland. We're working on Esme from the Netherlands.
Yeah. So
we have some cool
our
stuff
friend
coming up this
Isabel,
year. Yeah,
so it's
Isabel.
gonna be awesome.
So
Anyway, well, thank you guys so much for tapping in. What
Thank
is
you.
the final thing? Website is also
www.pdp.biz, and there's no period at the end of biz, so it's just pdp.biz. And
That's a lot shorter than
It is.
professionaldetailproducts.com.
It is
So,
pdp.biz. And then if you're in the Ohio area, you should go check them out because they're
their shop's
their
great.
shop's
So,
awesome.
Anyway,
Anyway,
thank you
appreciate
guys
that.
so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
And we will check you guys same time, same bad channel just next week. See ya.